where's the rain and is it coming back? Not anytime soon. It looks like the dry weather for many of us is going to last at least through the weekend. We have high pressure across us at the moment, and that's going to stay as we run through the rest of today and into Saturday and Sunday. There's still high pressure nearby. There is this front to the west of us, and that's bringing a bit more cloud and a few spots of rain, and you know, it's really just going to be mostly light rain, to be honest. So most places, as we go into Saturday, staying dry. By the time that we get to, I'll put the rain on actually, by the time that we get to Sunday, this is still Saturday, but by the time we get to Sunday, there will be a few more showery outbreaks of rain. I think this is a little bit overdone, to be honest. I think there will be some showers across parts of Scotland, and there could be the odd heavier one, but maybe for Northern Ireland. But most of us will still be dry on Sunday. It's Monday when things get a little bit trickier. So if I just dart through, and even on our Met Office, our global model, as we go through Monday, now it's quite coarse resolution at this lead time, but it's highlighting that particularly down the eastern side of the UK, we've got this flow coming through. You can see the jet stream. It's not especially strong, but it's coming down and it's dragging in some, or helping to bring some wetter weather likely on Monday. But this perhaps isn't the most likely scenario because different models are doing different things. And if I actually show you a comparison when it comes to our rainfall totals for Monday between, I have the Met Office model on the left, the ECMWF, European Centre for Medium Range, in the middle, and GFS, the American model, on the right. And whilst our model is showing, you know, some rain, but not a huge amount, EC has a much wetter picture for this Monday. So some heavy, perhaps even thundery, showery rain, particularly down the eastern side of the UK. Some places could see, you know, 20, 30 millimetres of rain, perhaps. Still uncertain at this lead time as to exactly how wet it's going to be, but just be aware, particularly towards the east, there's a reasonable chance that Monday is going to be markedly more unsettled, wetter, than it has been recently, and it will be through much of the weekend. Will that last? Will the unsettled weather continue? No, not really. Looks like we're going to see a change again to something drier as we go further ahead. High pressure, I'm now looking at Tuesday. There are signs of a bit of rain if you look at the forecast for Tuesday, but it's actually looking like quite dry air. So looking at some of the profiles through the atmosphere, I'd be surprised if these showers, if any of them actually reach the ground. So worth bearing that in mind. But as we go through much of next week, after, yes, perhaps a bit of an unsettled start, it's likely that high pressure is going to be firmly in control. And whilst it may not be totally dry with a few showers coming through, on the whole, it's looking largely fine. However, as we go towards the end of the week, and lots of you will be well aware that next weekend is a bank holiday, the May Day bank holiday. And here's our weather pattern, our member index, showing the next 2 weeks. And what you can see, the reds indicating high pressure, largely in control for a while, but it's as we head towards that bank holiday weekend and through the weekend and into the following week. So as we head into May, well, there are stronger signs that we could see something more cyclonic, more unsettled developing. It's definitely not a guarantee. And actually, quite interestingly, we often talk about a 6 to 10 day ridge on these Weather Studio Lives in our deep dives and stuff. So that's when we're looking 6 to 10 days in the future, our models are hinting at high pressure building, but it often gets shifted back every day. And so 6 to 10 days, it's always a 6 to 10 day lead time. And then by the time it actually arrives, it's been squished down and doesn't last as long as perhaps it looked like it would have done a week or so earlier. In this instance, it's kind of your 6 to 10 day trough. And they don't usually get shifted back. But over recent model runs, this transition from the higher pressure that we have through the next week or so to something more unsettled, that has been shifted back. So I do think we are going to see a change. And so I don't think the fine sunny weather is going to last through into the beginning of May. But exactly when we see that change from the mostly dry, mostly sunny and warm weather to something cooler, wetter, well, that's still to be determined. But if I also look at a couple of charts that I have from ECMWF, and now this is our rainfall anomaly for next week, so from Monday the 27th of April, and it shows that across the UK, really strong signs that as a whole next week is going to be very dry. Yes, Monday may be quite wet, but after that, a lot of dry weather to come. But if I flip it onto the week beyond, and it's a different story for that first full week of May, so from the 4th of May until the 11th, and it's showing that things are likely to be a bit wetter than average for much of the UK, particularly this area, but yeah, nowhere near as dry as what we're expecting through next week. And we can see a similar story when we look at the temperature anomaly as well. So a lot of warm weather as we go through next week, so temperatures likely to be above average, particularly by day. By night, with high pressure, clear skies, light winds, similar to what we've seen this week, perhaps not quite as extreme, but similar. We could still see some pretty low temperatures by night, and it could be quite chilly at times. But by day, it's looking fairly warm for many of us with all that sunny weather. Not a huge surprise. Go on a week further, and like we're seeing with the change to something wetter, we're also seeing a change to something cooler. Not much cooler than average for many places, only around or even a little bit above average for some coastal parts towards the south. But it does look like it's definitely not going to be as sunny or as dry or as warm as we go through the beginning part of May as what it is looking as we go through next week.